Hey there, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here. Just a little update on the Every Bit Counts challenge. So this was, I don't know the numbers for this week, but I skipped Saturday and then I went to Sunday, and on Sunday I did some bananas and some more okra, and then I chopped up some garlic and made little garlic nuggets and froze it. Monday I canned some tomato sauce. Tuesday I did pork and beans. Hi, baby. Hi. Sorry, dog came over to say hi to me. Wednesday I skipped. I had to go into work a little bit earlier, and I didn't get into the kitchen. Yesterday I skipped the kitchen, and I actually did a little bit in the sewing room on some quilts. So that's a little different, but you know, every bit counts. And today I did 2 more jars of okra pickles. I did not do a video on that, but everything else is there for you to see what I got done, and thanks for joining, and leave me a comment. Do you participate in the Every Bit Counts challenge? How do you preserve food? Give me some ideas. Maybe it's something I could use too. Thanks so much for joining. Hey everybody, Claudia from the Wee Garden Homestead here. Today is day 18, August 18th, 2024 of the Every Bit Counts challenge. I skipped yesterday. I cheated. I had to go to work and I wasn't feeling motivated to be in the kitchen, so I cheated. But I'm going to make up for it today. So today I was tackling these bananas again. I just soaked them in pineapple juice and vacuum sealed them to a bag. These are going to go in the freezer. These are so big that one of these is probably the perfect amount for one recipe of my favorite recipe of banana bread. So these are going in the freezer, and up next is some okra. Alright, so still the day 18. I just went out and picked a bunch of okra because I skipped the garden yesterday too. Some of these are really big, and I'm worried they might start being a little bit tough. If they are, I will just cut them up and throw them in my veggie mix for when I make broth. That's when I have, you know, onion scraps and carrot peelings and celery scraps. All that goes into one big bag, and then when I make broth, I've got them to use. So these really big ones, I have a feeling that's where they're going to go in the vegetable bag for broth. I also managed to pick enough of the smaller ones to do another jar pickled. So that's next on my list. I'll do the pickled first so that they can be in the water bath while I'm doing these. And these I'm just going to, I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to bread them, and those are going to go in the freezer. Okay, this bowl is going to the freezer. Some of these were just a little bit crunchy, and the tips will go in there too. These will go in the freezer in my veggie scrap bowl bag for making broth, and then these are the ones I'm going to bread. So that's not bad. There it is. That timing worked out perfectly. The okra's ready to go in the freezer. I just finished up as the timer went off for the pickles. So I do have one more project that I'm going to be tackling today, so stay tuned. Last on my list is this peeled garlic. I bought it last week, and with the intention of doing something with it, and I really need to do something with it now because it's starting to look a little worse for the wear. So I'm going to put this in small batches in my little zhuzher. This little thing hooks up to my stick mixer, and I love this thing. I use it all the time. And I'll put a link for it actually in the description. So I'm going to zhuzh these in that. I'm going to roughly chop them. I'm going to scoop them in probably about a half a tablespoon, a little over a teaspoon, half a tablespoon dollops on a cookie sheet, and freeze them, and then I'll be able to take them off and put them in a Ziploc bag and just grab some out when I need them. I saw Becky on Acre Homestead do this, and I thought it was a great idea. I think she might have used a little like a little ice cream scooper thing, but I don't have one of those, so we're just going to make it work. Okay, so these are ready to go in the freezer, and here's what I learned. I did add a little drizzle of olive oil in there because they were just a little too dry to stick to each other. This is the end I started on, and you can see as I went down, I got a little better. I had to pack them into my measuring spoon with the back of a spoon, and then instead of scraping with the spoon, I lined it up. I held my regular spoon on the edge still, and I just curved the measuring spoon around it, and they dropped out pretty neatly by the time I got to the end. I only did about 1/3 of this bag, so I'll probably do some more tomorrow. I don't have another cookie sheet, and I don't have room in the freezer for another cookie sheet anyway. So these are going to the freezer. When I bag them up tomorrow, I will get back to you, and like I said, I'll probably do some more tomorrow, and I'll do a better video so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, y'all, my whole house smells like garlic. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. All right, today is Monday the 19th. It is day 19 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge, and last night I pulled a whole bunch of well, it was 2-gallon bags of tomatoes that I had just grabbed from the garden and thrown in the freezer when I was just too busy to deal with them, and they really needed to come out of that freezer. So I got them out of the freezer last night. I put them in my Instapot to simmer overnight, and it took them forever to thaw out. But anyway, I got them all in there, and then this morning they were still a little bit runny. I just hit them with the immersion blender, and I put them on the stovetop, and I simmered them for a couple hours, and they thickened up a bit. So now I have 11 half pints and 1 pint of tomato sauce to use in recipes. I like to use these little jars when I'm making smaller recipes for Salty and I, things like baked beans and stuff like that. So this was all the half pints I had. Otherwise I would have done 2 more half pints instead of that 1 squat pint. But this is what I got, and this is what I did, and I'm looking forward to using these instead of buying tomatoes from the store. Hi everybody. Today is August 20th, 2024, day 20 of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Today I'm canning pinto beans. I'm canning pinto beans with smoked pork. And what I like to do is use these for baked beans. So I open the jar up and I add the seasoning for baked beans. I've got the basic pork and beans, or beans and pork really, but and then I add molasses or brown sugar and some tomato sauce, like the tomato sauce I canned yesterday, some salt and pepper, you know, basically whatever you would use to make baked beans. Now I'm sure you kind of ask why I don't just can baked beans. Well, because every time I have canned baked beans, the sugar in there has burned. So I don't can baked beans. To me, that's just a waste. If it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to use it. So I use these for baked beans. So I have the beans. When I got home from work last night, the beans soaked, and they say 12. I soaked the beans, so they say 12 to 18 hours. It has been just a little over 12 hours. It was about midnight when I got them started. Most of the time I do a quick soak, but I went ahead and did that today. So I have the beans just about coming to a boil again. They will have to boil for 30 minutes, and then I can can them. And then I have smoked rib trimmings from last August. And then I've got some the ends of the smoked pork loin from looks like last March. So these have been in the freezer, and I thawed them out. I pulled them yesterday. I thawed them out. I'm going to put them in this pot over here with a little bit of water just to soften them up. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling these rib trimmings probably may have some small bones in them. But anyway, I've got to, I want them to be ready to come apart and pull a little bit so that I can put them in the bottom of the jars with the beans. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'll bring you back when I'm ready to start. When I'm ready to start canning. Just real quick to show you what I'm working with. There are this one's got a bone. This one's got the little gristle nubbies on the end. So I'm going to cut these up. I'm going to get them simmering in some water while the beans are coming up to boil. All right, guys. I might have overestimated the capacity of the pot. Oh, I have moved it to another burner and left the lid off, and hopefully it won't go over. again. Because, dang. I have bigger pots. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so this is all the bones that was in there, and I think I might have too much meat for the amount of beans I have today, but I don't know. And, you know, these are the little gristle nubbies, and I'll save those for the dogs. The dogs love those. I don't give the bones to the dogs. The cooked bones are bad, but these little gristle nubbies, they can have those, and they love them. So this is my pork that I pulled, and I happened to think as I was doing this, I think that pork from last August was actually in last year's Every Bit Counts challenge. So every bit counts. Okay, so I have the canner on the stove with water in it warming up. The beans are hot, the jars are warm, the meat is warm. I've got my lids ready, and I'm going to start filling these. So the first thing I want to do, and please realize this is not an approved canning recipe. I've done it before. I feel confident that it is safe. It's not a lot of smoked meat. Smoked meat is not okay to use for canning, according to the powers that be that say what is safe and what is not safe. I feel this is safe for me. I am not telling you to do it, but this is how I do it. And I'm not measuring here, I'm just doing a handful. Oh, it's not as much meat as I thought it was. We might have a few cans that don't have any meat in them, which is fine. I'll use them other ways. Okay, so that's getting started with that. Let me rinse my hand off. I'll try to do this without bumping the camera too many times, but it is definitely in my way. And then fill the jars with broth and beans to 1-inch headspace. I try to be fairly generous with the broth because the beans will still soak up liquid. So this was 3 pounds of beans. When I started, it said 9 jars would take 3 1/4 pounds. Plus I added the meat in, and I have always found it doesn't matter how many jars I think I'm going to get, I always wind up with more with beans. And that's okay. I believe the proper way to do this also is to fill 1 jar and lid it and get it in the canner, but I don't know. It seems silly to me to waste all that energy going back and forth. That's going to be too many beans. Alright, I'm going to debubble these. Check my headspace. Always have to debubble, just in case you don't want any air pockets stuck in the bottom there. That'll mess up your headspace later on. little too much, too much, too much. That should be good. And then we're going to wipe our rings with a little bit of vinegar, our rims. This gives us a chance to double check those rings also. A little bit of vinegar just cuts through any grease, and I don't think there's going to be any because that meat was pretty dry going in, but just in case. Lids. And no, the vinegar does not degrade the seals on your lids, just in case you were wondering or had somebody say that. Now these are just going finger tight. I'm always confused by finger tight. I'm not sure. I usually go just until there's resistance. And I can't hold them very long anyway because they're hot. Don't have enough rings. All right, I'm going to get these in the canner and then do some more, whatever I have left. I've got my Presto 23 on the stove hot, so I can double stack. And I'm going to do that, and I'll be back when they're done. They're going to can for 75 minutes, so I'll be back. All right, there it is. My canner is full. I have 9 pints on the bottom, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pints on top. So I got 16 pints out of that 3 pounds of beans and those pork scraps. The last couple that I didn't have pork scraps for, I actually used the broth that I had cooked the pork in to get it to be able to pull. So either way, they're all going to have that smoky pork flavor. I'm going to get the lid on this, turn the heat up, and these are going to can for 75 minutes. I'll be back when I pull them out of the canner. Hey y'all, just wanted to check back in on these garlic pucks from the other day. Look at that. It worked. It worked so good. So I got to get these in a bag and in the freezer. But yeah, worked. Alrighty, there they are. I think it was 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16. 16 beautiful jars of canned beans, fresh out of the canner. Some of them are still bubbling madly. Isn't that beautiful? So usually I have found when they are still bubbling, like this one, that one, when they are, this one is amazing. When they're still bubbling, when they come out of the canner, they usually seal. So every single one of them was bubbling as I pulled them out. So I am hoping for 16 sealed jars. Thanks so much. Hey y'all, today is Thursday the 22nd. I took a little break from the kitchen today and did a little every bit counts in the sewing room. So I got this quilt top put together. I just need to get to Joann's and get some backing and something for the binding, and then I will be finishing this one up probably in the next week or so. It's about a 45-minute to an hour drive for me to get just to Joann's, so 2 Joann's and back is quite a trip. So I will be finishing this one up. I finished it up, the top up today. I got it all together. And then I also worked on these. I got a bunch of these done. So this part was already put together and this part was put together, and I already had the top corners on. I need 12 of these total. These are 12-inch hearts. I got 6 of them done today. I put together the blocks for the corners, and I got the corners on. So I have 6 of these. Like I said, I need 12. And those are going to go together with 6-inch hearts that I've already got finished. These are all finished. These are going to go with these. And then I have a bunch of these half done. I've got, I don't know, 10 or 15 of them finished. I think I need probably about 40 altogether. I've got a bunch of them half done. I've got about 10 of them finished. So the big part was this that I worked on today. These need to be done by Christmas, so I have plenty of time, a little bit at a time, because it is a big project and every bit counts.